All right, so let's look at steps 4 and 5 of the chapter 5 mid-level grader project called response. So it looks like step 4 is asking us to remove the background color from the document. So you might have noticed it's a little bit grayed out. So we're going to go ahead and go to the design tab, and we're going to go into the page color. And right now we can remove whatever page color has been turned on by clicking on no color, right? That's all we have to do for that portion. Then step 4 asks us to select the preparing for disaster heading that precedes the first body paragraph on page 1, right? So not the headings with the check marks on it. We're not talking about that. We're talking instead about these headings here in the actual columns. All right, so we're going to select the preparing for disaster heading. And the reason that we're doing that is because we're going to add a bookmark titled preparation to this particular heading, which means that if we ever want to link back to this preparation for disaster section here, we're going to click on the bookmark called preparation. All right, so we're going to go into the insert tab here, and we're going to go into the links group. And instead of an actual link at this point, we're just creating a bookmark. So we click on the bookmark option and asks us, what the bookmark name is. We're going to type in preparation, and we will add that into our option there, which means that this title has now been marked with that bookmark of preparation. All right, we're going to add bookmarks to other headings as well. The next one is going to be strengthening communities. So I'm going to select the text that I want to be bookmarked, and then I'll go into my links, click on bookmark again, and I'll type in the next bookmark name, which is going to be communities. All right, and I'll add that. And then I'll select the next option, which is going to be response readiness. So I'm going to keep scrolling down, and I select the response readiness title there. And I'm going to name that bookmark response. So once I've selected my text, I go back up to links, I click on bookmark, and we're going to call this one response. And you'll notice that the previous bookmarks we've created are still there. Click on add, and we've got one last one called worldwide. All right, so we're going to scroll down until we get to a developing a worldwide disaster preparedness center. So we select our text there. Then we go into our link and we choose bookmark just like we did before. And this long title is going to be bookmarked as worldwide. Okay, I'm going to add that bookmark. And now on this document, we have some titles that have been literally marked or bookmarked so that we can use them later on. All right, so how are we going to use it? We look at step number 5, and it tells us select the first checked item on page 1. Essentially, we're going to use these bookmarked titles here, and we're going to allow whomever's reading our document here, or whoever's viewing this online, to click on one of these titles, and it'll take them to that particular section that we've now bookmarked. All right, let's go ahead and do that. It says in number 5, select the first checked item on page 1. It happens to be preparing for disaster. So I'm going to go ahead and select that item there. And it asks me to insert a link to the preparation bookmark. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, now it's asking for a link. So I'm going to go back into the same place that I went to before. I'm going to click on link here, but this is going to be a little different. So if you've inserted web links before, for example, a direct link to another web page, then you would have been linking it to an existing file or web page. But in this case, we are linking it to a place in this document. What place? Well, preparing for disaster is going to link to our preparation bookmark, right? So this is in alphabetical order, not in order that you did it in. So I click on preparation and I click on OK, and look what happens to this text here, right? It becomes a link to where? Not to a website, but a link to a place inside of this document. Okay, so I've got my first linked place, and then it tells me to insert the links for all of the other checked items on page 1. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select strengthening communities, and I'm going to go back into my links option and click on link one more time. And what was the place in this document for links? And as it turns out that our strengthening communities was communities. So I click on OK. And then I've got my response readiness check item here. So I go back into my links, but notice that I selected the text first, right? I click back onto links, and the response readiness was actually called response. I click on OK, and I've got one more left. developing a worldwide disaster preparedness center. So I go back in after I select my text, then I go back into the link option. And this is going to be the worldwide option. I click on OK. And you'll notice that each one of these is now a hyperlink. A hyperlink to where? Let's test it out. If I click on this link here, I hold down the control key and I click on it, it's going to take me to developing a worldwide disaster preparedness center, right? So these types of links are document links. They just take you to a place inside of your document. All right, you're going to continue with step number 6, where you draw a small text box and you format it. Good luck.